God, Tys, hey.
Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. How are you all?
Another show, another week.
Another week.
That's another movie to discuss.
Another episode of Tys and Videotape. Oh, was that...
That's the Price is Right.
Price is Right? Yeah.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, I thought you were going for. Hey, everyone. How are you?
You're welcome. Episode number 53.
Jesus Christ.
53 of Tys and Videotape.
53.
Welcome. If this is your first time, welcome.
Welcome. Yeah. Don't go back. Don't listen to all the episodes.
Start around like
no, but that's what
20.
I do. Like when I get no. Well, if it's a movie podcast,
there's some really good. There's some good early episodes.
There are.
We are also talking a lot of shit.
Start at
Cobra's a good one. Cobra's really funny. Running Man's actually pretty funny too. I remember when I listened to that. That came up okay.
Yeah.
But today we're talking about the 2005. I didn't even fucking write down the year.
This is how unprepared. No, I'm kidding.
This is how we do things here.
What's the movie called, Tyson?
Well, we're doing the movie from a year called Role Models. This is the David Wayne directed Role Models.
Role Models.
I think it's 2005.
2008.
2008.
With
Yep.
With Sean William Scott, everyone knows as Stifler.
With Stifler. Yeah.
And the
Ant-Man.
just beautiful Paul Rudd, who, if you don't love Paul Rudd, there is something...
Everybody's favourite.
There's something
Paul
wrong with you.
Rudd.
You know.
We're not sure how this conversation is going to go. I think we had grand intentions.
We did.
And then
but that's okay.
We decided to skip the episode anyway because we had Oscars things to do.
Had to prepare for Oscars.
And so it's been a couple of weeks since I watched it.
It's going to be... It's not
exactly fresh.
It's not fresh
in my mind.
But hey, you know, we've watched it many, many times.
Well, I have watched this many times.
Exactly. So it's going to come back.
I'm sure we'll find something to talk about
exactly.
for 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, if it's not just the wonders of role-playing, you know, it's the bromance that happens in front of us.
Oh my God, I might have just got the double meaning of role models, by the way.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Tyson. That's all right.
That's bad.
He's a busy guy. But ladies and gentlemen, he's busy. He's got a lot on his plate.
But that's it. But yeah, so we're going to tell you all the ways you can find us later in the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
But before we do that, just one thing we want to mention right up front is next week.
Ooh.
We've got a very special episode planned for next week.
We do.
Next week we are running our first mailbag episode. We've done mailbags in the past.
We have,
and we found that we've kind of had to rush through some things that we'd like to spend a little bit more time talking about. Yep. So and we've had a few emails come through that that's awesome that people are emailing. Yeah. We love it. Sick.
Cheers.
But the questions that have been asked have kind of warranted a bit of a reasonable discussion, not the weird little 5 minutes that we tack on at the end. So we've decided we're going to do a full episode of Mailbag. So no movie next week,
which I know
Mailbag episode.
From the start you've wanted to do for a while.
Yeah, I'm really pumped about this. This is going to be really fun because we're leaving it in the hands of you, our wonderful listeners.
Exactly.
What do you want to hear us talk about?
So you've still got 1 week to do that.
Yeah, we're recording this for another week.
Exactly. So if you do want to jump in on the conversation, if you do have something to ask, whether it be, I don't know...
What
is Tyson's favourite sports movie?
Oh, yeah.
And what is the movie that where does Nick rank all of the Superman films? Or where do we both rank?
Sure.
That's actually a really hard one. Please don't do that.
Don't do that.
Please don't do that.
The conversation will go for way too long.
That's the full episode.
That is a full episode. But yeah, if you want to do that, you can email us at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com.
Yeah, man.
Or we'll even take if you want to write on our Facebook wall, or if you want to send us a message through Facebook, we'll take that as well. You can find us just facebook.com/nicktysvideotape.
Please do.
There's heaps of ways to get in touch with us.
Start a chain on Twitter.
Yeah,
start a chain and have everyone add to it.
That's it.
We've got a few followers on Twitter. It's amazing.
So it'll be really cool to have a few more. We've got a few stocked up, but a couple more wouldn't hurt. With a couple we can smash through quickly. You never know.
Fill the bag.
That's it. I want my bag full.
A massive bag,
or
and we're gonna even open a letter on.
Should we
can
just
open a letter. We can just get a
bit of this kind of.
Yeah, there we go. And what does this letter say? Stacey from Frankston says.
Stacey from Franger.
Says, Tyson, what do you eat for breakfast in the morning?
Oh, for breakfast in the morning, I have 2 moderately soft to medium boiled eggs. There you go. Question answered. Medium to soft boiled eggs. Well, not so soft that it all comes like spilling out, but not so hard that it's like
to ooze.
A little bit.
You want some oozing
because
do you have toast with it?
No, I don't dip it. No.
Really?
I
you
just
don't
eat
dip?
them. I just eat them.
What is wrong with you? You crazy
no time
bastard.
for that nonsense, man.
No time.
No.
Well, fair enough. He's got to get to school.
I'm a busy man. But before we do any of our regular nonsense, let's talk some trailers.
Talking trailers. Yeah.
Everybody's talking trailers. So today, We've got a couple. We've got a few huge things to talk
They're not
about,
massive.
but a couple of interesting things
Exactly.
popped up. So first, should we discuss...
What do you want to discuss first?
Let's talk about Christopher Robin.
Christopher Robin, sure.
Disney's cracked out another one of its old properties.
Yep. Well, look, it just literally it picks one off the shelf and goes, "Let's redo this one."
Yeah, let's find a way to release another movie with name recognition and make us a bucket load more money.
Exactly. And for some reason, we've got a twin movie action happening. We've got
twin movie action.
Got Goodbye Christopher Robin, which came out last year. And we've got Christopher Robin coming out this year.
And because I didn't pay too much attention to Goodbye Christopher Robin, I until seeing this trailer could have sworn it was the same movie.
Right. Okay.
And so, which I think I can be forgiven for thinking.
Absolutely. I've seen both trailers, and it's fine to make that mistake because they are very, very similar.
Well, we had Goodbye Christopher Robin, which was the actual story of the guy that wrote Winnie the Pooh, and now we've got an actual in Winnie the Pooh universe story coming up. Yeah. So,
is it A.A. Milne? Is that who
A.A. Milne?
wrote
Yes.
Yep.
So that was Domhnall Gleeson.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it was fine.
I wanted to see it. Yeah. Dom Gleeson and Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah. And Kelly MacDonald. She's awesome. She was the one that I know her from is she was Rowena Ravenclaw. She was Rowena Ravenclaw in Harry Potter.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but you would know her from such things as No Country for Old Men.
Yes, very good.
And Trainspotting.
Yes.
And Trainspotting 2.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Very good.
I haven't heard anything about Goodbye Christopher Robin.
Sure.
But I still want to see it.
Yeah.
I love Dom Gleeson.
Well, now we have this trailer. Christopher Robin.
Yep.
Ewan McGregor.
Playing
Christopher Robin.
I love Ewan McGregor.
He's all grown up.
Yeah. But Pooh is actually playing a character in this. Whereas Pooh didn't actually play a character in the other one.
No, this is my minute. It's in universe now.
Yeah.
So it's not the story of writing Winnie the Pooh.
No,
it's in Winnie the Pooh. It's basically Hook.
Yeah.
But
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. So we got a grown up Christopher Robin played by Ewan McGregor.
Yep.
Who has is disillusioned, who works for a bank, tries to spend time with his family, and he can't because he has to work.
This is Hook. This is literally Hook.
Yeah, it really.
Now that you're saying
it really feels like it.
Right.
And then all we get in the trailer is a little bit of here's London. It's London, and things are happening, and then he's sitting on a park bench in chilly London town, and
exactly, and
up pops fucking
Pooh
Winnie.
Taps him on the shoulder and goes in that classic voice that Pooh has.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. There's something so warm.
I can't do it. It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sounds like it's wrapped in honey. It literally does.
And what I like about the animation of him is that he's not animated to be a bear. He's animated to be a toy bear.
Yeah, a teddy bear.
Yeah. So it's legitimately like a toy.
Yeah, coming to life. Almost like Ted.
Like Ted.
Yeah.
So I thought as well. They've basically, Disney's just gone, oh, hey,
we'll take a bit of this,
we'll take a bit of this. Let's do Hook again, and instead, let's do Ted in Hook, but not for adults.
But not for adults, for kids.
And not about drug and sex jokes and smoking bongs. Can you imagine Winnie the Pooh in Ted?
Don't. I wouldn't want to. I really wouldn't want to. I really wouldn't.
Oh, hey, we don't have our little... I was wondering why there was so much extra noise and shit. We don't have our little fluffy...
We don't have fluffs on.
Our little fluffy things on our microphones.
That's all right. It's not his fault. He's very, very busy. Let's pause for a second.
Yeah, let's do that.
Getting a lot of...
Okay, well, we're back, and we're going to be sounding a lot more...
professional.
Yeah, like we actually know what we're doing.
Yeah.
At least to a certain degree. Not when it comes to content by any stretch.
No, that's not the point.
Yeah, so what were we talking about?
We're
imagining Winnie the Pooh in the Ted movies. That's what we were doing. Smoking a bong.
No. But Christopher Robin.
Yeah, well, that's like, seriously, what else? I've got very little to say about this. It was really only because it was kind of like that I wanted to talk about it. It's because it's like, how many more of these are we going to get? Like,
how many more of
Disney's just...
Disney just churning the barrel?
It's like, they could essentially just continue to this revolving door policy of remakes basically endlessly, because by the time they get to the end of their properties again, they could go back and just start it all over again. They could just make the same things over and over
in 2030.
I want a live action, dark as fuck version of the Black Cauldron.
I've never seen the Black Cauldron, but I've heard if you look up, I've looked it up on some fucking list on the internet. Black Cauldron is the second top, darkest, most fucked up Disney movie that there is. Is it Black Cauldron? Yeah. Where it was really messed up.
The top one? Fantasia?
I forget what it was.
Song of the South, which is racist as
I think
fuck.
it was. Yeah, I think it was that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which has
Where
one
it's
of the
just
best songs
messed up.
ever.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, Zippity Doodah.
Oh, zippity doodah.
Yeah.
Zippity doodah.
But
zippity
it's all racist, crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
just,
hey man, the people putting up the tent in Dumbo at the start, they're all in shadow, like they're all just black slaves.
Yeah,
I'm like, geez, this is lovely.
doesn't have like the yes sir crows and stuff in that as well, isn't it?
That's true.
Yeah, it's the
Crows at the end, and that's my favourite song as well.
God,
Apart
I
from
think it's some nasty stuff
I think
in
it's
those
Mum's
movies.
favourite song where everyone bawls their eyes out. Dumbo, man, that is a hard
Right.
watch nowadays, and it only goes for an hour. How good is that?
Oh yes, Disney.
Yeah, Disney.
Got it going on.
Yeah, back in the day.
Speaking of Disney, just to kind of, because this is not what I want to mention in What Did We Watch this week, but I caught the last half an hour or so of Hunchback of Notre Dame the other day. That is still... That'd be in the conversation for my favourite, I think.
It's up there for me.
Ugh,
it is up there
so
for me.
good.
That start and just the songs in that. Oh, and the darkness of
Judge Frollo.
Judge Frollo, thank you.
He is such a good character,
And
man.
that scene with him and Esmeralda. Whoa, it's full
fucked up,
on, man.
But this is why it's great. I used to watch it heaps when I was like a teenager. It was kind of like... I wasn't a fan when I was a kid. I had the VHS of it.
Yeah.
Or maybe I had it on DVD.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway. And I would watch it a ton when I was like 14 to 17-ish. I'd watch it like every couple of weeks. I was so drawn to it.
Yeah.
And even now when I look back at it, I'm like, fuck, it really was. I think I know why, because in a way that, like, similar to Lion King, which I also, I mean, it's no big shock. Someone likes fucking Lion King. It's great. Like, but I think those two I like so much more than like
Aladdin,
your Little Mermaids, your Aladdins and stuff like
yeah.
that, because I just felt like it actually kind of dealt with a lot of really complex relationships and moral, complexities and stuff.
Yeah, with Quasimodo dealing with the fact that he's not a part of the people down and he's being held back and he wants to save Esmeralda, and then there's a kind of a relationship there, but she only sees him as a friend and things like that.
It's
full on, man.
Yeah.
Full on. And then it tops it off with the bells, bells, bells,
fuck, man.
bells. Oh,
such good stuff.
man, get
Such
me in
good
a mood
stuff.
and I'll rock that out. I don't hit the notes, but I can
no,
rock
me
it
neither,
out.
man. That is
no one can hit those
there's
notes.
some pipes on that dude.
But yeah,
Christopher Robin.
but yeah, I'd love to see a live action Hunchback of Notre Dame. Are you kidding me?
You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it because
they can do it.
No,
if they can do Jungle Book, and that was an okay watch. You know what I
I
mean?
didn't mind Jungle Book, and I
Yeah.
suppose they did kind of. But I think it'd have to be, because Hunchback. I'm pretty sure the animated Hunchback is actually PG,
Yeah,
which are
it is.
not a lot of their the animated features are PG.
It's because of that start where Frollo holds Quasi
baby.
over the well, and you're like,
Oh,
"Whoa,
yeah.
deep shit."
I would say it also has a lot to do with the song basically saying that he wants to sex her up.
He wants to do
I
things.
want to sex you up. That's what he sings in front of the fireplace. And there's
He
all
really
those
does it.
choirs, the
Oh,
hoods.
in the
I
background.
want to
Sex
No,
you
he wants to sex her up. That's what happens. That's that movie.
Good lord.
Good lord. I've
Are
got
you
nothing
gonna,
else to say.
Are you
Let's
going to
move
see
on.
Christopher Robin?
Nah.
No.
Probably
That's
not.
why I do a podcast with this man Tyson, because you're going to say, nah.
I don't
Why
know,
would I
man.
say
Like,
that?
maybe I went and saw Saving Mr. Banks at the cinema. Like, it was just one of those things that I was just
I
kind of
really
like,
liked that movie.
I was on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go check it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it too. I like, I think it had the Tom Hanks factor though that I think it's that draws me a lot in as well. I'm kind of like, well,
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks doing Walt
Dude.
Disney, man.
Dude.
That's something worth seeing.
Can't go
And
wrong.
Emma Thompson's
Emma
fucking
Thompson. Go on.
British treasure. I was about to say national treasure, but she is a national treasure.
She's a national treasure for everyone
Yeah.
else, but she's a British treasure,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Look, I mean, obviously this trailer gives us fucking nothing, so we'll see how we go.
We'll see how we go.
Cute bear, though.
All right. Well, the one that I wanted to talk about, which is it's a bit questionable now that we've discussed it off air, is the TV series, not a movie. It's a TV series called Cobra Kai.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. YouTube Red.
YouTube Red, which
I just the whole
the less we
idea
say
of
about
having
it, the better.
to just to pay to subscribe for content through YouTube
yeah, they're trying to be a
is
streaming service.
just ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
fuck off.
Yeah, I'm not interested in it because, like I said before, I'm not interested in watching Logan Paul's fucking dramatic turn in some horseshit movie. What was that movie that like I couldn't watch a YouTube video without watching the trailer for it because obviously YouTube's pretty smart. Google, they're
they
smart.
know what they're doing.
Their algorithms are on it, so they know that what I watch.
What you're watching.
And so pretty much every ad before anything I watched on YouTube was the trailer for that. What was it called? The Culling or the
I don't remember.
It was basically like a knockoff of Hunger Games and Maze Runner and like all of them mushed into a blender.
Young adult fiction.
Young adults, like they had to do a test to make sure the culling. Why do I think it's like that? It's something. It's a word that means like whittling down the numbers.
Who was in it? Give me some.
Logan fucking Paul was in
Logan
it, I think.
Paul was in it, really?
Yes. Oh, maybe he wasn't.
This
I don't know.
douche.
This douche.
This douche. Look at him. Just has a douche face. The thinning. Fuck me.
See, I knew
Jesus
it.
fucking Christ.
And so I don't need to watch that movie.
No, no one does.
I've got zero interest in it.
No.
I don't need YouTube to try and cash in on the fact that they have these YouTube personalities who are basically just people that do shit on a camera that in any other format would be considered just absolute garbage. Yet within 3 days of posting have over 1 million views. I don't understand it. I will never understand it. Anyway, so YouTube Red have decided
to fund something that if it was on Netflix, Tyson, and you saw these trailers, because they're only quick teasers. They're showing that they're not really showing anything. They're showing that the character of Billy in The Karate Kid is bringing back Cobra Kai.
Johnny.
Sorry, what did I say?
Billy?
Oh, sorry. Well, it's fucking the same thing.
Is it Johnny?
Yeah. No.
Johnny Lawrence? Is that his name? Johnny Lawrence?
Johnny. Yeah, it sounds like an 80s
One
name.
of them was named Johnny.
Yeah. The fact that we don't know, that's terrible. But yeah, they've cashed in. They've got both Ralph Macchio and the guy who plays Johnny. Let's see if it's Johnny. It is Johnny. Yeah. William Zabka.
Zabka. So yeah, William Zabka. Right. Okay.
You're just cutting all this down, aren't you?
I feel like I have to because
that's understandable.
It's not like William Zabka is this kind of like secret great performer who we've missed out on because he couldn't come out from the shadow of
the bad guy.
Is it Johnny Lawrence?
Oh,
what's
Jesus.
his fucking last name?
No, I've just got Johnny here. I've literally just got Johnny.
Why do I think Lawrence? Where did I get that from? That could be completely wrong.
Moving on. What did you want to say?
Moving on. So, because he popped up as himself playing like a kind of fictitious version of himself on How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, really?
Because he's Barney's hero,
right?
William Zabka.
Ah, right.
And so
it is Joey Lawrence.
Johnny Lawrence.
Johnny Lawrence.
Joey Lawrence is that guy from fucking Blossom.
Blossom, man, bring that back.
Yeah, Blossom. Good hats. And so I kind of thought, okay, we'll see what he can do.
Yep.
He's not a very good actor. He's not a very good actor.
Yeah. Well, it's How I Met Your Mother. I don't think there's very good acting on that show.
We talked about How I Met Your Mother. Creatively, it's actually really, really intelligent and smarter than pretty much most other sitcoms.
Right.
The execution may not always be there, but its conception and stuff is really incredible. What they could do with a 20-minute television format. Very kind of Community-esque in the way that they can kind of cross the
timelines.
Well, not just timelines, but the way they kind of fuck with sitcom convention.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't... And fucking... Ralph Macchio isn't exactly... The poor kid, though. Like, he started off really strong. Like, The Outsiders, he's great in The Outsiders.
Crossroads, man. I remember Crossroads. That was fucking awesome.
Shit, yeah.
Dude.
Fucking play that guitar, man.
Yeah. But I feel like they've brought these two together to do something that maybe the 80s kids have wanted to see.
It's like because obviously 80s, we're in a renaissance of the 80s at the moment.
Yep.
This nostalgia for fucking anything 80s related is the hottest thing in the world at the moment.
Yep.
And look, I'm a fucking sucker for it.
Loving.
Yeah, I'm crazy for it.
Yeah.
So it seems to me, and I can't help but be very... suspicious of YouTube's intentions because it seems like they've just gone, what's like a big 80s thing that we could do because it hasn't been done yet. They know Ralph Macchio and William Zabka aren't working.
They need the cash.
It's not like they're fucking busy.
Yeah.
And they know they would do it because it's their opportunity to get back in the limelight.
Yeah. But those trailers they hit some beats for me. Like, maybe it's because I'm so nostalgic of The Karate Kid that I'm like, well, maybe this could be good. But
I find it really hard to not be cynical about it.
But in the back of my head, I'm like, well, Nick, it's on YouTube. And
it's on YouTube Red.
Really?
So you have to, I don't know, you have to pay like $6 a month to watch.
Hey, look,
Cobra Kai.
I'm
and
sure there's
some
other ways
horseshit.
that I can see it without
yes.
subscribing.
Yes, this would probably be one of the few cases where I would absolutely support the use of torrenting.
Torrenting.
Yeah,
we've said the word
because YouTube doesn't need any more money.
No,
they're selfish enough with the money they already get.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so some interesting things in it though. We've got Zabka getting the Cobra Kai
we get Zabka,
dojo back up and running.
He's kind of played as the protagonist in this one rather than.
Well, I don't know if that's truly the case, but I think that might be I think they might be trying to make it slightly more of a complex
story.
character.
Yeah.
Because
and they've got the whole kid. There's a lot of teenage casting.
Well, they seem like
so it's
quite
very much
young too. Some of the kids in the dojo.
Yeah. So it's him coming back as the sensei, you would say, of the dojo, and starting up Cobra Kai again. And then of course, because he's doing it in the valley, Daniel is in the valley as well. And
he is all about it.
He's all about it, and yeah, it's very like the trailers. They're teasers. They're not trailers. Are very quick.
You don't get a lot.
You don't get a lot, and to be honest, I think that's done for a reason because maybe there isn't a lot.
Is it a full? The series, are they full-length episodes or are they like short episodes, kind of like what they did for, remember that Mortal Kombat series?
Yes.
That ran on
that was really
Machinima?
Good. Yeah.
Machinima?
What?
Machinima? Is that how you pronounce it?
I have no idea.
And they had the Street Fighter series as well, which was really nowhere near as good.
I didn't know about that.
Fucking, it was pretty rubbish.
Oh, really?
It was just like a Ryu and Ken kind of story.
Yeah, I don't have
supporting characters.
I don't have running times.
Okay, so
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know, and I don't need
10
to see
episodes long.
So they're 10 episodes.
Yeah.
So they might be full length, 20 to 30 minute maybe. They wouldn't be an hour. You can't get 10 hours of content out of this. There's no way.
No.
There's not 10 hours of content in the old movies.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love how he's like in Karate Kid 3.
Man. I love 2.
Two's the bomb, man. I fucking love 2. I love in 3 how he is like this chubby 27-year-old dude still, and it's meant to be in the movies universe. It's like 3 weeks after the
I know.
He's basically
he's come back
gone from the fight,
gone
to Okinawa, and then come back,
and he's like, "What do I do now?"
Yeah. And he's like 27.
Yeah, no. I'm like, dude, you are pushing 30. You can see it.
That's Johnny. Is that? Oh, no, that's Johnny.
No, this is Johnny. I've just looked it up. Who are you talking about?
Barnes. He's Johnny as well, is he?
That's Barnes. Yeah. I know
Karate's
Karate
bad
3.
boy.
Yeah, Barnes.
Bad boy of karate, Johnny Barnes. Is it Johnny
it's
Barnes?
Not Johnny Barnes.
Jimmy Barnes.
It's
Australian
definitely
singer
not
Jimmy Barnes.
Good Lord. It's definitely not Jimmy Barnes. Good Lord.
That movie just became instantly so much better was when they slammed down that magazine with his face. It's Barnesy.
It's Barnesy?
Yeah.
No, it's definitely not Jimmy
Mike Barnes. Bad boy of karate, Mike Barnes.
Bad boy of karate.
Is that it?
Hang on, here we go.
Come on.
Where the fuck is it? Mike Barnes.
Yes.
Sean Kanan.
I enjoy Karate Kid 3 because it's so fucking bonkers.
Yeah. Well, I loved it because I wanted finally, which you don't really get it. You get it a little bit, but I wanted a fight scene with Mr. Miyagi.
It's pretty good. That one in the dojo with Chris and Terry Silver.
Exactly, where all the lights are off. It's through blinds, so you're seeing some shadows, and I'm like, go, Mr. Miyagi, go to fucking open up a can of whoop-ass motherfucker.
He does,
and he
man.
does. He does not too bad.
Scene.
And he ends it so well by going, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. And I'm like, oh, what a fuck you. That is a massive burn. What a fuck you.
Yeah. There are some really great moments in that third one. There's some terrible stuff in it.
Absolutely. But the whole thing with the bonsai tree and all that stuff, that's the...
deep root.
Yeah, seriously. You go to sleep in those bits. But, it's still
still
good.
There's some sweet attempts.
I still love them. All 3, man.
I would happily watch all 3
Number
any
1
day.
for that soundtrack alone, man.
Number one, you forget the pedigree behind number 1. It's some really, really good people working on a movie and they had legit intention for it. This is the thing we kind of forget because it's like, oh, Karate Kid, fucking wax on, wax off, man. It's fucking sick. You forget this was the director of Rocky.
Yeah.
5 years after it. Yeah. Casting Pat Morita, who was
a comedian,
who was a very famous American comedian,
who actually didn't like doing Karate Kid at all.
But it comes it was billed as a prestige picture. He was nominated for fucking best supporting actor at the Oscars.
Yeah, man.
It's got Bill Conti doing the music. This was legitimately seen as a prestige vehicle.
Yeah.
Something that it was for your consideration style. And yeah, sure, it might not reach the heights, the emotional kind of complexities of something like Rocky.
But it was up there, man.
But it's
it was a
and especially
contender.
for like teenagers.
Yeah.
Like,
we were all over this.
Oh
we
my
were
God, I was
all over
obsessed
this.
with
11, 12, 13. I basically watched this back to back like every week.
Yeah.
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 That and Karate Kid Part 2. 3 came into it later, but yeah.
3 was always the one I'd seen the least.
Yeah, exactly.
Until recently now when if I want to watch one of them, I tend to pick 3 because it's the most...
Really?
Because it is the most wild. Like, it really is. It's such a weird experience.
I haven't watched it in so long.
Terry Silver fucking sitting in his sauna, smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
When he says, I want to make his knuckles bleed. He's
Make
like,
his knuckles bleed. Oh, yeah. Make his knuckles bleed. I love it. I love it.
and it's just this.
I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to do it for
It's
you.
just wacky, man. It's just out of control.
Yeah, it's a bit full on, isn't it?
And when he jumps
Was that
out
the
from
90s?
behind his
Was it
cutout, when he
90s?
jumps out from behind his fucking life-size cutout,
remember
and
that.
it's terrifying. It's like something out of a horror movie.
It really is.
No, that was like, I think that was like
90?
89.
89.
Yeah. Oh, I might have snuck in a 90, actually.
Really?
No, I feel like it was 89.
I feel it was 89.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 89.
Yeah.
Nice one.
But yeah, so this will be interesting. I'm not sure what to make
Look,
of this.
I may give it... You know what? I'll give it 2 episodes.
How's the bit with that shot when he's in the car office and
He does a slow-mo
he does
kick,
like a
which is like the weakest kick I have ever seen in my
and it's
life.
like, I don't think he's done a lick of karate
No.
in 20 years.
But
30 years.
obviously he hasn't
Shit.
been given a heads up either. Like Daniel,
No.
Ralph, we
Hey,
need you
hit the
to
gym.
maybe hit the gym a bit.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pay you a bit of money to play Daniel again.
Oh, there's very little money in this.
No.
I think this is one of those deals where it's like, hey, come and do this because it'll have mass exposure, and then you might get your name back in the papers again,
That's
and then you
awful.
can do
Don't
some
do
kind
that.
of token
Why
guest
would you
star roles.
he knows
Because he's probably not getting work, man. Because people are like,
that's not the point.
Karate Kid.
No, that's not the point. I would rather not do anything and have Daniel LaRusso up there with one of the greatest characters of the 80s.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You got to eat. You guys got to eat.
Yeah, there are other ways to make a living.
He's selling cars apparently. So there's always that.
He's selling the character selling cars.
It's a method.
But it was gold.
It's going full method.
It's full method.
But
yeah, that was it.
When is that? When can we possibly
trailers.
start torrenting that? Is there a release
I know
date?
that Tyson's just let it all fly. He's letting it out. When can we see this? We don't have a date, I don't believe.
Okay.
2 seconds.
What a shame.
Keep talking.
Well,
That was it? Was that it for trailers?
I wonder if it's
Was there
going to
another
have. You're the best.
No, don't. I don't want to remix. I don't want to redo. I don't want you to touch
A
it.
remix.
If you
Do you know
touch
this-
it,
it was Karate Kid was when I discovered Cruel Summer by Bananarama
Oh,
because it
dude,
plays on
yeah.
the beach through the.
No, it doesn't play on the beach. It plays on. It plays on when he goes to school.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it plays when he goes to school. I know it backwards, man.
What plays on the beach when they've got that little boombox and they're playing soccer and shit?
It's not that.
Well, hey, we've changed our show format, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
We're going to trial out a new format, so please get excited. If you're regular listeners, this is going to throw you way off.
Haha.
You're going to be lost your bearings completely.
Exactly.
But we're going to move What Did You Watch this week
Ba-da-da-da.
to the end of the show.
How do you like that? If you don't
Do
like
you
it,
like that? Do you like that? Because we thought maybe we would get to our feature presentation a little bit earlier because that's the thing we advertise up top when
Exactly.
we put it on the show, when we put it on the description.
I like that.
So
What-
let's get
what
to
are
the
we gonna
content.
talk about?
Let's get to what people want to hear.
Exactly.
So let's do our feature presentation.
Let's do it. Feature press.
And now for our feature presentation.
All right, today, 2008's Role Models.
Role models.
There it
And
is.
that's the best way to start. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
It happened. There was a movie.
Did you watch it? I bet you did. Everyone did.
No one watched it. It's one of those things. Actually, do you know what? It's one of those things that it's so easy to watch.
But back in the day, this would have done nuts at the video store.
Oh, it's
It would have done nuts.
Were video stores still around 2008?
Nah.
No, that was.
They would have been a couple here
down,
and there, but
winding
they would
down.
have been winding down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a big seller. I remember it was a big seller at JB. It was always one
was
that
it?
was because it would always come down to like $6.98 or $9.98.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's like you can't go wrong for that for that
$9.98,
money.
man. You're gonna laugh. You're definitely
You're
gonna laugh.
guaranteed to laugh. It's kind of one of those comedies that I think there's maybe 15 or 20 or so
Rubber dub dub.
that I would classify as kind of like regular watches. Like for me, where I just kind of go, I want to watch a comedy.
Yep. Dodgeball.
I'm not. Dodgeball is one of them.
Yeah.
I'm not too fussed about
Sure.
it being something new or something that
Old?
I've heard is really good
Sure.
and I haven't seen it yet.
Yep.
I just want familiarity.
You want to know that you're gonna laugh. Guaranteed
This
laugh.
is probably this would be one of them. I think there's quite a few.
Oh, absolutely.
There was a little patch around that time where I actually found a few comedies that I would consider all timers. Stuff like Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I've found.
Oh right.
I remember the first
once.
time I watched it, I was like, "This is probably my favorite comedy."
Really?
I loved it sick.
Yeah.
And I still think it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you know, your Anchormans and your things like that. But I'm a big fan of that kind of era, Paul Rudd as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big fan
of... sort of that Anchorman Brat Pack.
Those guys, they can basically kind of branch out a little bit, and I will follow them most places.
Yeah. Where do you draw the line? Blades of Glory? Or...
Well, see, I don't like Blades of Glory very much. No. Having said that, though, I love Semi-Pro, so I'm the worst judge of Will Ferrell movies.
Okay.
I think Semi-Pro is a fucking masterpiece.
I feel like Semi-Pro was just Blades of Glory with a lot more swearing.
So much funnier than
Really?
Blades of Glory.
But there were so many funny bits of Blades of Glory.
Yeah, sure. I like, and people kind of say that he's just basically doing the same character.
He's rehashing.
I do not like his character in Blades of Glory,
really?
and I love his character
in Semi-Pro. I've watched Semi-Pro once. I own Blades of Glory just for a lot of... Because it came down to $6.98. And because of our discount, I was like, well, literally that movie cost me $3.
Yeah,
as if I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. So I bought it just for for the gag where he's in the skating... He's at the skating circus or whatever, where he's really low and then he's drunk and throws up in the head. And I just threw up in here, people. That's the reality of it. I am nothing but a human onion.
There's a great vomit gag in Semi-Pro as well, which is good. You can get punched in the jejunum.
I don't like people who think that actors like Will Ferrell and Jim Carrey are just rehashing. I feel that they're
really different.
I think it's different.
I mean, obviously you've got to play different characters, but they're very smart comedians and they understand the levels of caricature that they need to bring to each of these. And
Comedy
look, Will
is
Ferrell is
hard,
always
man.
he's always the most ridiculous person in his movies, and that's how it needs to be. There's him, and you know, which is maybe also why I don't like Blades of Glory that much, because I don't think John Heder, how to say his name, is a good foil to Will Ferrell.
No, it's kind of weird.
Whereas Semi-Pro, you get Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, that's true.
Who basically just Woody Harrelson's around the joint. And is a great kind of counterpart to Will Ferrell's ridiculousness.
Was Semi-Pro before or after Zombieland? Because that was basically the Woody Harrelson show. I would watch Zombieland just to get that. That was fucking gold.
Zombieland's an incredibly good movie.
And they, instead of doing a sequel, they did a fucking TV series, you dumb dicks.
Yeah, apparently.
With not Woody in it.
Well, they did a pilot and no one gave a fuck. So
no, of course not, because Woody's not fucking in it.
It's a good point.
So, yeah. And I would have liked to have seen the shittiest Lex Luthor in the world get eaten.
Jesse Eisenberg. But so this Paul Rudd era as well, I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
Also, like something like I Love You Man, I think is a really great.
I've watched that. That's
really great
nice.
fun.
Yeah.
I might be one of the only people that like it, but I really like Our Idiot Brother as well. I reckon it's really sweet, and he plays like this lovely, kind of just this wholesome, kind of lost cause of a dude who's just so lovable.
He sells weed to a cop and just gets done. I'm like, oh, buddy.
And
seriously.
so I think Paul Rudd's kind of cornered the market of relatable everyman.
Nice guy.
Yeah. And, which is funny because even in a movie like this, he brings so much Paul Rudd goodwill that we're like, I love Paul Rudd. So when he's an asshole,
he's a dick. Yeah, he's a massive dick.
We
and he
still don't care. We're sort of like, no, Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
We get you, man.
But it's so funny. So watching this and being as old and as cynical as I am, I relate to him a little bit too much. And it hurts me that I do. I don't want to be like that.
Yeah, look, I mean, nobody wants to be, but the thing, I think it's kind of cleverly written because it's the kind of dream reaction some of us have to some of this shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, obviously, I don't, none of our jobs, I would hope.
Oh, I'm not going to get that bad. Yeah.
Are as soul crushing as what he has to do.
Your job is that bad,
there is a certain amount of I think when, towards the end of my days at the old JB Hi-Fi, I would have loved to have driven a truck into a store and
told the customer where to go and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And stormed out and thrown a finger
or if someone gives you a little bit too much. The ordering of the coffee is the one that I most identify with.
Oh, the venti.
A venti. Oh God. But that's.
But this is what's funny about that, and this is kind of adding to the. Sorry, I'm just going to pick up my notes.
Oh yeah, sure.
This is what adds to that whole thing about how he's painted as someone that we relate to, but then exposed to be just a fucking jerk.
Yeah.
This is the cleverness of that screenplay, is the way it's called venti because it's 20 ounces. But he's just too much of a jerk to consider that.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's happy. He's so much happier being able to complain about something that it doesn't matter to him.
Yeah.
I like this movie a lot.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I suggested it.
You did.
Because
But I'm not going to say no. I love watching.
I
this
think
movie.
I think it does have a lot to say. I think it's perhaps a little bit under the surface, and it's not proud of what it has to say. I think it's quite proud of what it has to say, but it's not its main focus. I think its main focus was to be kind of to really earn its R rating, or MA for us.
Yeah.
To just be kind of vulgar trash, really comedy with a underbelly of good heart. I think that was kind of all it wanted to do. What I think it ends up also achieving is that it has a lot to say about masculine relationships.
Yeah, male friends,
but in a different kind of degree, like not just buddies, like how through if you don't like misguided masculinity, basically. So if it's not channeled, how it can be channeled in bad ways, I think. Yeah. And also this whole idea of forced responsibility, that idea, and something that I think we kind of relate to at the moment, is that we're at a certain age where we are expected to have a certain amount of responsibility, and perhaps we are not quite sure how to cope with that responsibility.
You don't get taught that in high school, or there's no, you don't get taught that. You have to own up and be a man, and be a man is a shitty term, but yeah, you have to grow up and be an adult and accept your responsibilities and know that the way that you are and the way that you live your life has reactions to different people, and
but at the same time,
person.
Yeah, but at the same time, yes, this is the world expects these responsibilities of me, and that's fine. It's like, hey, Tyson, stop being a fucking idiot and pay some bills and, live in a house. Like, these kind of things. Yet at the same time, part of me just wants to fucking dress up as Kiss and play pinball games, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I'll fucking go to a party and play FIFA for a few hours, man. Fuck yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, so and not worry about what I have to do in the morning.
Yeah. If someone told me you could make as much money doing what you're doing now, dressing up and going, Minotaur! And that's it. I'd probably do it.
Yeah, I totally would.
Because who needs real life shit?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of, I actually like this movie a lot. I think some of its vulgarities, and I use that word only because it's I'm not saying it's vulgar. Like, I think it's some of its choices in humor won't age well.
No. This movie will age.
Yeah, and it will be one of those kind of relics where you go back and say, oh, that's not cool. I don't think they spend an awful lot of time talking about things that I think kind of lessen our empathy for these characters. And
they don't do the male species justice. That's not it. They don't shine us in a good light.
Yeah. No, but
not all males think like that.
No, and it's not necessarily that it's a negative light. It's just an outdated light. Yeah. And I don't think you could look at either of those two and say that either of these two main characters, Paul Rudd or Sean William Scott, and say that they're inherently bad people.
No. That said, I do love titties. I'm a boob guy.
What can we say?
I'm a boob guy.
It's
what I'm attracted to. I'm not going to shame who I am.
No, that's it.
I do like them.
It's an odd. The conversation is difficult to watch now, though, because it does go on for quite some time.
I know.
It's a nice bonding
section for them.
For them too, personally.
Yeah, Sean William Scott and the kid.
I think,
what's the kid's name?
See, I had it all. This is because it's
his
not
name is
fresh
Bobby J. Thompson. Really? That's gold.
That's his actor name.
He has an actor name. Do people still have actor names?
What's his character's name?
Ronnie.
That's it. Ronnie. I think what's nice about that scene is that for someone like Sean William Scott's character, whose name is what?
Sean William Scott's character. His name is Wheeler.
God,
straight out of Captain Planet, man.
I love it.
Wheeler.
What about Wheels from Degrassi?
Wheels.
I'm trying to think of other.
Didn't Wheels get AIDS? No, Wheels didn't get AIDS.
No, that was
It
was Spike's.
Spike's
boyfriend.
Yeah. What happened to Wheels?
Wheels got harassed by that truck driver.
That's right. Wheels got almost molested
when he was hitchhiking.
Fuck, we remember that. That is gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he died.
Really? What, the actor?
No.
Or the character?
Because I don't think he was in any of those reunion things.
He drowned. He went to the party at the end, drank too much, went to swim in the lake, drowned.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wheels.
We
hardly knew ye. Isn't that what they say? We hardly knew ye.
I have no idea
Wheels.
what you're talking about. But Wheels, Wheeler, Captain Planet.
So
man.
Wheeler, this is what I think, while that scene about basically how to look at boobs isn't
to have boobs in your peripherals
isn't the greatest kind of, it's a bit distasteful. I think it's an interesting conversation because it kind of it's one of the only things Wheeler can pass knowledge on about. So they get to have, he gets to feel like not a responsible, but a wise adult, a teacher of young people, something that he can pass his wisdom on to them. And it actually is such a bonding moment for them.
I do love when he's talking to all the little kids and the kids go, "Do you have crabs?" And he's like, "What? No, what are you talking about? What?" And they just bombard him with adult questions like, on what date should you move to the third base or whatever? And he's like, what? How do you know about this shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is, Wheeler's, I actually think Wheeler's a really good character. Yeah. I think it's a really well-written character.
He's got a soft heart. And especially because of once he's done all the bad stuff, he still wants to hang out with Ronnie. He goes, no, I want to,
He's made a better person by Ronnie because I think he sees someone obviously very similar to himself in this kid, this very kind of misguided kid who has all this energy and doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like Wheeler's kind of felt that way forever. And he's also kind of a little bit blissfully unaware of social normals. Yeah. Normalcies.
Norms, yeah.
So, because you can see sometimes the way he just kind of, his conversational style, and there'll be things that people expect are just that everyone else will know. Like when he has the chats to Elizabeth Banks. Now, the get out of jail free card, is that a real thing?
Is that something that's based in reality?
Yeah, exactly.
Or...
So he's got this real kind of like blissful, like he's just happy living his life, man. And he's just
game face, bro, game face.
Yeah.
Minotaur!
So I think it's a really kind of, he's got a really nice arc through this film because he does. Not only does he kind of realize that he might need to just assume some responsibilities, he still can enjoy life. They don't make either of these two boring in order to enjoy their life. Do you know what I mean? They're still the same kind of people they are, but it's like they are given an opportunity to channel this immaturity into something
to do
worthwhile.
Good. Yeah,
which I think is really kind of like, it's an interesting kind of way for one of these kind of movies to go. Because I mean, I'm not saying that it's usually these movies are like, be yourself and everything will work out. That's not what this movie's trying to say. This movie's trying to say that you do have to grow and change.
Yeah.
But there are always opportunities to allow that change to feel natural as opposed to going against what feels right to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of cool because we think watching a movie like this because Paul Rudd's
what they're setting
useless
up.
And he's a trash bag and he can't hold down a job and he's proposed to her for no good reason.
Yeah.
And Wheeler's just a big fucking sex fiend who, lives off energy drink money.
And just does parties every
They're probably
weekend.
Still going to be those people.
Yeah.
And
that's what I love about this movie is that they have arcs.
Yeah.
But the arcs aren't massive.
No.
These are still the same people at the end of the movie as they were at the start of the film.
Pretty much.
Yes, they've changed
just
a little
genuinely bit. With more care
for
the people around them.
Yeah.
Like
it's not massive. They're not life-changing. They haven't gone into a classroom and have everyone sing and they've won a contest, yay, sister act. They haven't done the Big Daddy thing where he's taken his friend's son and looked after him but then realised he's had to, be an adult towards that kid.
Yeah, at no point is one of them rocking up in a Wheeler's not rocking up in a suit saying, "Oh, hey Ronnie, I've gone and I'm gonna get my business degree, man." Like we always talked about, and maybe
exactly.
he basically just goes over and says, "I really like your kid. He's a good kid." I reckon,
and he's not trying to get
spend time.
Yeah, and he's not trying to get, which you can clearly see, she's a single mother. He's not trying to get that. Oh, well, let's try and get your dad back into your life. It's not that either. He's not trying to make things... It's not trying to absolutely fix 100% his life. It's just trying to go, look, you're in a shitty situation. How about we have some fun?
Yeah. And I think I like... So we've talked a lot about Ronnie and Wheeler as well. I like with Paul Rudd, who is... What's his name? It doesn't matter. It's always just Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd plays
Danny.
who?
Danny.
And his name? Danny.
Know, hilarious. Danny. And Christopher, I don't know.
Mintz-Plasse?
Yeah. Augie.
Yeah. So the relationship between them, I think, is really lovely because Paul Rudd being such a cynical fuck, basically, through 3/4 of this movie, he still gets to be that cynical asshole, but it just... to the things that he wants to be cynical about.
Exactly.
It's like Augie has turned him around on, not on everything. It's not like one of those things where it comes out and he's totally forgiving of all other things.
Yeah.
I've been totally cynical my whole life.
Yeah.
He's still going to be that cynical. Augie's allowed him to show that you can like nerdy
be
shit.
cynical. No, but you can be cynical about the thing that you like. So he's almost not forceful, but he's made Paul Rudd kind of care about the would you call it?
It's LARPing.
Yeah.
So they call it Lair. Is this one?
This one? Yeah. So live action, whatever it is,
interactive role play. Is that what that?
Yeah.
Might be what they're trying to.
But yeah, he wants to care about Augie. Augie cares about this. So in turn, Paul Rudd's character cares about this. But he's also that cynical fuck about this.
Yeah.
So he'll go, no, you fucking cheated. We're going to win, and all of that stuff. And then he turns full circle and goes, let's kick some ass.
Well, you can see it with the stuff at the end, because when stuff does happen and they do the big dramatic death, and then he smacks him in the balls and stuff like that. Like, so there's still that kind of like, this is a bit ridiculous what we're doing, but it's kind of fun anyway. Yeah. So like, but just because also when he's obviously, I think he's probably, maybe he wasn't like Augie, but I think he kind of has a bit of a semblance of that, is that for a lot of his life, he's been told that he can't enjoy the things he wants to enjoy. He can't be that kid, the slightly weird kid or anything like that. Not necessarily that Paul Rudd was, but because of he's grown up obviously with a lot of cynicism, maybe he wouldn't have been like that if he was more like Augie. And I think he sees a bit of that and thinks... Augie might be a really dorky kid who hasn't quite figured out his way through life yet, but at least he loves something and cares about something with like all of himself.
And being as old as I am, if you can love something as much as Augie loves this shit, even at my age, fucking awesome. Yeah, life is short.
So there's the line where Wheeler, when they all get dressed up in the Kiss outfit and blah blah blah, and they all start having it, and he comes in and he's like, you can tell he's enjoying it. And he's like, this shit really jacks you up. And it's like, because it's right. It's like, this is kind of like, these guys have been struggling to find a way to just be, like, let their immaturity out to a degree. Yeah. Like, and they're funneling it into perhaps the wrong channels, because, Paul Rudd's becoming a cynical, cranky motherfucker. Yep. And Wheeler's
just needs
dodging all responsibility whatsoever.
Reel it in a bit. Yeah.
Just is all about banging hot chicks and going to parties.
Awesome.
And so they've found this other way to channel it through this game where basically you run around with swords and you hit each other, and it's all fucking, it's fun and games.
It's rad, yeah. And you can do a dramatic death at the end. Who doesn't like to do a dramatic death?
Do a crazy big dramatic. I like Ronnie's one. It's great.
Yeah, his is the best. Yeah, that's
his little outfit is great. He looks terrifying.
He looks so good as the demon.
He
looks so good as the demon.
He looks like
Starchild is my favorite, but so good as the demon. I just hate the cat. Yeah, no one likes the cat.
I find it so funny
apart from my wife and my friend Cam.
The cat's alright. Ace Frehley. No. I like that when it comes to explaining Kiss. It's actually like, if you ever wanted to kind of convince a 12-year-old boy that Kiss is the greatest band of all time, he's going about it the right way.
They sing songs about sex.
They sing, it's like Love Gun.
Love Gun.
What do you think that's
one
about?
Of my favorite fucking songs in the world. Are you kidding me?
It's like, what 12-year-old kid is not going to be like, these sound fucking sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Show me these costumes. Holy shit. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But I love it. And
such a weird addition to this film, though, all the Kiss stuff. And plays such a huge part in the end.
Yeah. I love it. It's so good. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, should we talk about Jane Lynch?
Next time you want to bullshit each other. See how that feels.
She, this is kind of not my first exposure for Jane Lynch, but early Jane Lynch for me. Yeah. I was aware of her, and I'd seen her in little bits and pieces here and there. Mm-hmm. Like, there's when did she plays a reporter in something, and I remember seeing it and be like, oh, hey, Jane Lynch.
Jane Lynch.
I remember. Anyway.
I remember she's the grandma in Talladega. That was gold. I loved her in Talladega.
Yes. She's excellent in Talladega.
But as far as rating Jane Lynch, because I feel I've watched a few things of hers.
Yeah.
This is at the lower end for me because, of course, everyone knows I'm a huge fan of Christopher Guest films, and she's all in them, and I love her in those. But that's not to pull anything away from this, because all of her bits I laugh at.
I think she does some really, really incredible work in this. It's such a perfect balance between just way too much and perfectly believable.
Yeah.
Because she strikes me as
The way too much is the hot dog.
that kind of that's so funny. That's so funny, and I love the way.
Twice.
No, but it's the way that she looks at the person and says,
does it?
"What do you think of this?" It's like she's just sussing out.
It's almost like uncomfortable, and you're like, "Really, you're doing?"
But
this?
she knows
Jane Lynch.
She knows how to judge a reaction from
exactly.
it.
She's gold.
Yeah, like I find her as incredibly believable as this kind of recovered addict who has now found
Well, like a
the
camp,
clean
she's like
path
a camp
in life.
counselor. Yeah,
and so everything is like totally over the top and like so sickly sweet, but with this kind of half baked mean undercurrent of like, hey man, I've been on the streets. Don't you tell me I fucking sucked dick for cocaine and shit, and like stuff where
take the phone off the hook. Yeah, keep going.
Exactly. Where you're kind of like, oh my god, I don't know what's going on anymore with this person.
I prefer her though in 40-Year-Old Virgin. She's just the randomness of her coming in and going, how much how much do you sell weed? How much, like, for a full bag? How much I just want to be baked the entire weekend. I love her. Yeah. I love her so much. But yeah, she's totally, I love her because every time you think the movie dips, like you kind of get a little bit sick of Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott. Jane Lynch comes in and just picks it right back up, and we're back to where we were. And like, yes.
She's great. She's a great foil for the two of them because they need somebody to constantly be able to.
Put them in check almost.
Well, but they ignore what she says anyway. They don't actually really care. They basically just spend all the time they can trying to get out of the room. Yeah. I think it gives them a bit of a common goal, like to try and make fun of her to a degree.
Yeah.
And I love the way that they react to what she's saying without having to draw attention to it. It'll just be the two of them will just like raise one eyebrow when she says something really strange that makes no sense. Like, you know,
isn't it Mr. Shit and Dr. Full of Shit? Which one? Hey, who's full of shit? Which one of us has the PhD?
Yeah, exactly. Like the way that they can just drop those little lines in, and they don't need to conference it. They don't need to, it's like they understand, and it's something that they can do together. My favorite is when she says my role here is to service these young boys.
Yeah.
And you just see Paul Rudd just do this sort of kind of twitch moment, like, what? I think that's not what you meant to say. Yeah. Which he actually does. If you notice, he does this a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorites is the "let us gingerly touch tips," and it's just the little lift of the eyebrow, like what?
And the outtakes for this thing is just Paul Rudd cracking up at that guy. Yeah. Who's that actor?
Joe Latrulio. Truslio.
Rubber dub dub. When he does that,
rubber dub dub. He's so great. Who, like, in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I mean, if you're not watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you're wasting your life.
Yeah.
There's Charles.
I need to watch more of it. My wife loves that show.
Oh, it's so good. So good. And also her side buddy, who's played by A.D. Miles.
Oh, God.
Who...
He is almost too much, but he's so funny.
This is this really perfect line, I think, that they're balancing on, where it never goes into like it never goes into like speaking of before, like semi-pro kind of satirical, overly satirical kind of fake universe. Like, we're still in a real universe.
Yeah.
He just manages, David Wayne has this really uncanny ability to just get it right to the edge of a believable universe.
Yeah.
And never fully jumps over. Yeah, we never go into complete lack of believability. Yeah, and because we do get those moments with these other characters, like with Ronnie's mum, who is really down to earth, and we have the Elizabeth Banks character who brings us back in. Yeah. Even though they have some great scenes, like there's the guy who she's prosecuting or defending or whatever, and she's like,
and he's
you're on. That's you. Yeah, it could be any guy, and he's like, look at me, David, blah blah blah, Robin
TVs.
Yeah, no, it wasn't me.
No, it wasn't me. That I don't know who that is.
Yeah, like stuff like that, which is ridiculous, but and almost belongs in a Zucker Brothers kind of style thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we're almost getting to that point,
but they pull it back nice and quick.
But they just stay right where they need to be. There's the running gag about the Wings song that doesn't exist.
Does that
It's
actually
like,
exist?
Take me down to the streets. I don't think that's a Wings song.
no,
I'm
that's
pretty
not
sure
a
it's a Wings song.
No, it's
and
not.
then it's,
That
you know
song
any
doesn't
Wings?
exist.
And
Know any
the-
Wings?
and
Yeah, sure. Dove, take me down to the streets.
I actually don't think it's a real
Is it
song.
really?
I think they made it for the movie. And I don't know if you saw this, but this is David Wayne, man. David Wayne is a fucking genius.
Yeah.
They got for the credits, right? That song plays.
Yeah.
They hired a Paul McCartney
Are
impersonator
you serious?
to record "Love Take Me Down to the Streets" in Paul McCartney's voice.
Love, take me down to the streets. Love, take me down to the streets.
So we're kind of sitting there going, oh, maybe it was
Maybe it
like
was
a
a
Wings
Wings
song,
movie.
or maybe it was like
Sorry.
one of Paul McCartney like solos songs.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's just
I did not know
yeah,
that.
It's
I
just an
did not
impersonator.
know that.
'Cause
Now I have to watch it again and listen to the fucking
yeah.
song.
Well, the guy playing guitar that can't play Kumbaya that's
that's
David
him?
Wayne. That's
Oh,
the
right.
director.
Yeah.
Who's very funny as well. I think he does that really
And
well.
I love those.
Wait,
there's always,
hang on. Wait, no, I got it.
There's
Hang on.
always a fucking guy who's
Kumbaya.
trying to play
Yeah.
a fucking song who doesn't know how to fucking play it.
Yeah, who almost knows how to play it.
Always knows.
Yeah.
Kumbaya. No, I got it. Kumbaya. I got it now. Hang on, wait.
Oh, Kumbaya. He's just so fucking... He's like the most awkward dude in the world. Like, you just want to strangle him. But that is a skill. That is an incredible skill to be that frustratingly
To make someone
awkward.
cringe, that's really hard.
Like, it's beyond Ricky Gervais levels, because Ricky Gervais levels of cringe in The Office and stuff like that, that's a different kind.
Yeah.
This is you
just
are
makes you
so
awkward, but you're like,
embarrassed for this person.
This is weird.
And I think he's really nails it, and he does it in this too. Like just everything he does. If I had a nickel
for every
year, I'd have
enough to play a game of Pac-Man.
Yeah,
and you're like, really?
And if I stayed for another 5 years, I'd have another game.
And you even hear in the background, we get the analogy.
I can count.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
You'd have
We get it,
50 cents
we
a
get
year.
it,
Yeah, we get it. It's good to see Ken Marino. I like Ken Marino a lot, who
I love
co-wrote
Goon.
this.
Yeah.
With it was written by Paul Rudd, David Wayne, and Ken Marino.
Yeah, you could tell. But the one bit that it's always weird to me, and it always sticks out, and I don't know why it happens, and I would love if you know this.
Sure.
So the dinner scene where the mum goes, "I wouldn't invite you over if I knew you were going to be such a prick." Paul Rudd leaves. He was having the conversation with Oggy. He goes, "Dude, I'd be super psyched if Oggy was my kid. Whatever. You need to leave." He leaves, and then Paul Marino lifts up his chair, Ken Marino, and anchors it to the table, and I'm like, "What? Who the fuck does that? Was this a take that you thought this would be a good idea?
No,
and
I
you've
think
left
it's so.
it in?
No, I think it's really funny because I think it's like he's like because he's one of these guys. Like this is the kind of the skill of this movie because there's so many bad male role models in the film that believe that they're good male role models.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Well, no, there's not so many, but there's quite a few.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily think they're good role models, but they think that they're good representations of grown men.
Yeah.
They're responsible adults.
Yeah.
I think that's his like because he knows he couldn't like
He can't beat him up and kick him out, so he's just going to go, well, he's not going to sit here anymore.
That's his physical kind of reaction to it. He's like, oh, God, yeah, fuck it, take that.
I hate it. It sticks out. And I'm
I think it's really
why
funny.
did he do that?
I like it a lot.
But it's on the level of that weirdness. And I'm like,
well,
that's just weird for me.
Yeah.
Why has he done that?
It's such an odd reaction to it.
Yeah.
But with him, the A.D. Miles character, who I can't remember his fucking name. Everyone knows who I'm talking about, though. The redhead.
Yeah.
Martin. Then there's Ken Leong.
Ken Leong. Yep.
As the king.
Which I love. I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
He's apart from the Hangover
great.
3.
Yeah, his stuff in the Hangover grows
It was good
tiresome.
at the start, but the
I
whole Hangover movies.
He's so good in Community. He can be so incredibly funny. In this, he's just a bit of a jerk. I think he's great because he's so small, so he makes a really great villain because he's that exact kind of thing that we're talking about. He has to because he is obviously always been the smaller physical presence. He's had to compensate for that, and now can't balance being a nice person anymore because he's always threatened by his own physicality.
Yeah. Isn't it weird that his second, like his bodyguard, is it Matt Walsh?
Yeah.
Who looks uncannily like Louis C.K.'s brother.
Sure.
Don't they look weird? Is that weird?
Yeah.
Because Louis C.K. is actually in this.
Yeah, and
at the
I
start,
was gonna
which is
mention
like
it, and
a throwaway.
it is a throwaway, and he drops an F-bomb, and it's like,
It's
Louis
like,
C.K.,
yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
sign of things to come.
Yep. But yeah, and then he comes up later. I'm like, seriously, someone needs to cast these two as brothers. That they look uncannily like each other.
Yeah. So, and he's a funny kind of role because
But he's in everything, Matt.
he's
Walsh.
in everything,
Yeah.
absolutely everything. But he is a bit of a jerk, and then at the end he has that great line where he's like, "Fun, isn't it? We'll
Fun,
see you
isn't
next.
it?
See you next time. We need more
Come
people.
back next
Come
year.
back." So
Give me your email.
he genuinely. That's it. He genuinely maybe he's one of those people that has found a relationship. He's found respect by being mean.
Yeah.
By being threatening.
But he's playing a character. He's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
He's just
Well,
like,
maybe
yeah,
he
man.
actually just he didn't know any other way to get that kind of level
Yeah.
of respect, and so deep down, yeah, he is actually just a nice guy who has a really good time.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a lot, I think, to support the whole argument that I think genuinely they were trying to make a statement about misplaced masculinity.
Yeah.
Um,
Wrapped up in just fucking hilarious.
and that's it. And they found it, and they found that they had a plot where they were like, let's get two really immature goofballs
Yeah.
to look after two really troublesome, hard to deal with kids.
Yeah.
For one reason or another. Give one a really loudmouth kid who's I just love how he's just like, don't touch my junk and shit. And he's like, well, I didn't.
This guy tried to touch my hang down. I've got my own hang down. Like, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I love the Ben Affleck references.
Yeah,
that he pulls out.
you Ben
You
Affleck.
white, you Ben Affleck. And then one of my favorites, which just reminds me of my brother, is when Ronnie goes to leave the car and he turns around and goes, oh, I forgot something, and then goes smacks him. I'm like, oh, that's a good one.
And this is, I think the comedy works so much better than it could potentially because it is so unexpected. A lot of it,
yeah.
like it really is strangely kind of foreign. A lot of the I don't mean foreign like it's like a French comedy.
No.
Like Alien, let's say
Yeah,
Alien. Like the moments of comedy kind of come out of
Come out of-
nowhere.
yeah.
Come out of places that you wouldn't expect comedy to come from.
Yeah, because you kind of think that it's serious, and then you're like, oh, okay. Like at the start when Paul Rudd's Sean William Scott's thrown his character a surprise karaoke party, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh god, this is embarrassing. And you kind of feel for Paul Rudd's character because we're following his storyline essentially a little bit. And in that he goes, yeah, I don't want to do it. I really don't. And then all of a sudden this random kid, like this temp kid comes in and just takes over the karaoke.
Oh, yeah, that's Yoma Takomi from
and
Lonely
just
Island.
takes over. And you're like, this is hilarious. Why is this? We need to see more of this kid. And
that
then
kid's
it's off
great.
him.
Yeah, no, and
It's
then
so
he's got
gold.
nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Nothing else to do. But that's why moments like the hot dog pushing the hot
Yeah.
dog up and down work so well. And like the stuff with Ken Marino, who I love Ken Marino.
I love him.
And I love his first reaction. It so perfectly sets him up as a real fucking pain in the ass. When Paul Rudd's just walking up the driveway, and he's like, hey, no, wait, stay right there.
Who the hell are you?
Like, because I've literally got no time for whatever you're selling.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's such a jerk
And he's in
reaction.
thongs, and he goes, "Can you sign my sheet?" He goes, "Nah, I don't do that. I'm not the kids.
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
don't, that's you got to deal with her." And I'm like, "You're just a prick, dude."
Yeah, but like he's a prick who thinks he's not a prick. And this is
which is the worst.
This
kind
is
of
the problem
prick.
with all like a lot of the male figures in this film is that the ones that aren't actually the pricks on the surface are the most prickish because they are happy just being immature, irresponsible for the time being. That's what gives them joy, especially Wheeler.
What is a group of pricks called? What is a gathering of pricks called? Would you say?
I'm trying to. There's a pun in here. Surely there's something funny in this.
I've set you up a nice juicy one. You just have to hit it out of the park. A pointy one. How about that? A pointy prick.
I was thinking something like that. Amount of pricks. I don't know.
We got nothing.
No, I
that's
got
okay.
nothing.
We'll come back to it.
Hey, this song starts with that "Rock You Like a Hurricane." This movie starts with that "Rock You Like a Hurricane"
does.
song too. That song is following me around lately.
Rock you like a hurricane.
Because
Why did we talk about that last week?
it was in Hurricane Heist.
Oh, fucking Jesus.
Getting good reviews, by the way.
Are you being serious?
A couple early reviews calling it exactly what I hoped it would be. Big dumb fun.
We are. You know what? If you want to do Hurricane Heist, I'll watch Hurricane Heist. I haven't watched anything like that. I haven't watched Sharknado. I haven't watched... What are the other ones?
No, fuck. It's totally different ballgame. Sharknado. I'm not interested in Sharknado shit. That's totally different.
But I haven't even seen Snakes on a Plane yet.
No, Snakes on a Plane is bad. That's an attempt to cash in on a title only. I don't
but I
think
still want to see it.
it's
No,
no good.
shit.
It's not fun at all.
It's not fun?
No.
Do you want to go back to Anaconda days and all that stuff?
See, Anaconda it's not a great movie, I don't think, but it understands its B-gradeness.
Yeah, man.
And is making a silly, big, dumb monster movie on the Amazon River.
How good was that?
Which is fine, which is what it should be.
Wasn't J-Lo in that?
J-Lo is in that,
God
yes.
damn. And
Yes.
Lake Placid? Let's watch that again. It was an old lady feeding cows to a massive crocodile. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I like Lake Placid a lot.
Yeah, Lake Placid.
I think it's great. So the only other things worth that I want to talk about is this movie doesn't know how to end, so it sings a song, and the song is bad.
The song is bad, but the song Beth, it's a Kiss song, is the because I know Kiss knowledge and I love Kiss, is the song that made Kiss the most money.
No shit.
Beth. Yep. It was on the B-side, and because it was played, Kiss was regularly played on the radio because it was so friendly. Everyone got behind. Of course, because Kiss was very sexually driven, it was kind of aimed towards the male population. Beth was the ballad that aimed Kiss towards the female population, and bang, fuckloads of money.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
That doesn't work in the context of the movie.
No, it doesn't at all. It literally lets him sing her name, and they cash in on
and
that.
it was like, and everything's fine with them.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a Kiss-
like
it was a
like
Kiss
they
song.
attempted to. I feel like they attempted to write a conversation between them, and just couldn't be fucked figuring out how to make it work, and so had him sing the song
sing
instead.
the song. Yeah.
Because I still think the funny thing is that technically they've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
They should really. It's not solved
No,
just
nothing
because
has-
she saw
nothing
him
has changed.
playing.
Exactly.
Like he
Stood her up at court, like all of that shit.
I mean, and look, it's all obviously for the right reasons and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm not saying that she doesn't understand that, but there should have been a
scene,
well-written,
yeah.
just a conversation between the two of them, or something. It doesn't even have to be a conversation. Something that expresses that
Something
he
at the end that he
is
actually
he's in a
has
different frame
changed,
of mind.
yeah.
And I don't think the song quite does it.
But it's a fun song.
Yeah,
I
sure,
love Beth.
sure.
Beth, I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. Everyone loves Beth.
Sure. I honestly would not even pick it as like a top 20 Kiss songs.
There
If
you
you
go.
told me to name every Kiss song by name,
Mm-hmm. Beth is not one of them?
Beth
Of course
would
not.
probably,
Because it's the ballad.
someone would have to say, you haven't said Beth yet. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I of course.
It's because
forgot
everyone
that one.
goes to
The best ones.
No, but I don't like rock and roll all night and party every day. I'm sick of that
No,
song.
I love Kiss.
Fucking sick of it. No, don't get me wrong.
They are
I
just-
fucking love Kiss. Don't get me wrong. I have very many LPs over there that my parents
Yeah.
hand me down, and I fucking love
They're
them.
so gleefully rock and roll.
Oh,
Like,
fuck yeah.
Which I really love. I'm having a big resurgence of
Oh, really?
my love of like 80s hair bands.
Oh, dude,
Because-
really?
Yeah, because
we need to talk
they
later.
are so sincere.
Yeah.
And I really like. I mean,
They were
I'm gonna-
hated. They were hated at the time by
that's- then-
by the rock community. But yeah,
Yeah.
please, I love hair metal. Yeah,
It's like this is my cynicism. Well, this is my lack of cynicism, really, because I wish we weren't as cynical as we are as a people. this is my fucking. I'm getting on my high horse now, but this is part of the reason why I really don't like a lot of popular music is
Yeah.
because it is so afraid to be sincere. Yeah, like legitimately sincere.
You're talking about recent music.
To embrace everything that it wants to be about its genre, about its lyrical content. I feel like everything has to be kind of so much pop music has to put on a facade of what it thinks the audience
Wants
demands
Yeah.
of it, and it needs to have a certain level of sophistication, or it needs to have a certain level of street credibility, or it needs, it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hair metal, yeah, like to a degree, the way they dressed and stuff like that was obviously living up to a persona. I just find their music writing and their lyrics and their melodies so just unashamed to be hair metal.
Yeah, that's why I love it.
And I love it for that
From
reason
Poison
so much.
to Dokken to fucking every. Oh
Yeah.
God, I love it.
So
But
yeah,
I can only play it when it's hot. This is one of my
that's
things.
interesting.
Yeah,
I play
suck.
it a lot in the car. It's good
Oh
driving
yeah,
music. For me.
it's driving.
But that's
music.
why I really like Kiss, because I think Kiss, although obviously Kiss, the perfect example of putting on a persona, their music
dude.
is just so
They knew they were hideous and they put on makeup.
they make no apologies about their music at all. It is big, loud, guitar driven music
Yeah,
about
man.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yep.
And I fucking love it.
Play Detroit Rock City. That song. I know you have that movie too.
No, I don't have that movie.
Yes, you do. I've seen it at your house.
No, that's a lie.
Oh damn it! Was that someone else's?
Must be.
Damn. But
I've only seen it once.
Not that movie's good, but that song, Detroit Rock City,
Yeah.
you play that gets you in the mood.
Yeah, that's
seriously.
right, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's good.
dude.
Anyway, and the last thing is...
But that's the song that plays when he goes, a minotaur, boom, and how good is that?
It's funny that
Fucking
they
love it.
make a big deal about it, him seeing a minotaur, and there was a guy dressed
Dressed
earlier
as a
as a minotaur before.
Or the one that dressed as a centaur,
Who-
like who's dressed as a centaur
maybe it was
as well?
a centaur.
No, it was a centaur.
Oh, because a minotaur is the head of a horse, isn't it? And the body of a human. Centaur is the body of a human. Hang on.
No. Centaur
What?
is
Body of...
body of a human. No.
Hang on.
Top half of a human with,
Top half
with the
human,
legs of a horse.
is a centaur.
Is a
Minotaur
centaur.
is
Minotaur-
the top half of a beast.
No,
legs
but-
of a man.
No, because a minotaur is almost like a bull.
A bull with horse legs.
Yeah, basically.
So a bull.
So it's standing, but it's standing up on its hind legs. Does that make sense?
Oh, it doesn't have
Yeah.
human legs.
It doesn't have human legs. It still has hoof
Can it
type
have-
legs.
Oh.
Hoof type legs.
hooves.
I'm googling minotaur.
Oh god, this episode's garbage. Right?
It's gold. I love it. I love this episode. This is
What
going to go.
are we talking about? Oh god, I do like how Wheeler says about Ronnie that he acts so tough that I didn't think he could
That's
it could hurt him.
nice. I did like
Because I
that.
think that also sums up a lot of what the movie's trying to do is
Yeah.
that a lot of, especially for, young kids and stuff, they're taught very early that they have to put on a masculine
Yeah, you
toughness.
You have to be a man.
You have to be a big, strong man,
Which
and
is
you
so
can't show any emotion.
Fucking stupid.
And it kind of sucks, and I like that this movie draws attention to it.
Yeah, man. I do love that.
Yeah.
A minotaur.
A minotaur. I like how everything
How
is,
he says it.
everything is so
It's
good.
my favourite.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, jeez.
Rub-a-dub-dub.
A minotaur.
Tell me.
In Greek mythology, the
Mm.
minotaur is a mythical creature. Oh, yeah, get to the point. With the head of a bull. Oh, no. And the body of a man, but it's hairy. That doesn't make any sense.
A hairy man. Yeah, that's fine.
Part man, part bull. There
Part
you go.
man, part bull
Part
is a
man, part
minotaur.
bull is a minotaur.
Centaur.
Centaur is part man, part horse.
Part man, part horse.
Yeah.
Does it matter which part?
But the minotaur has
Because a
doesn't
centaur...
have feet. It has hooves. So it's standing upright.
Okay.
It has the arms
Yeah,
and the
okay.
legs of a man, but hooves
But
instead of
hooves.
feet.
Okay.
Hooves.
Okay.
I just want to keep saying, a minotaur.
Minotaur?
Yeah. It was gold.
All right, that's going to wrap it up, I think.
I think we're gold.
I think we've done all we could do.
I think we need to formally apologise to
Yeah.
the audience.
Why don't you write in? Tell us what you thought of role models.
Tell us what we missed.
Has anyone tried to
'Cause-
take a whole bunch of sleeping pills and then have sex?
Isn't that,
Has anyone ever
isn't that
tried that
Ludes?
before?
Isn't that Ludes? Isn't that what Ludes is? No, Quaaludes? Yeah.
Are they sleeping tablets? Quaaludes.
I think Quaalude. Isn't that, Wolf of Wall Street? Because
Yeah.
since Wolf of Wall Street, I've wanted to take Ludes. Get the Ludes!
There's a fascination to it because it's like what is it? Like
Exactly.
what is it exactly?
Is it a
How
sleeping
can
pill?
something be that much of a sedative? Do they take like 50 of them? Is that what they do?
I have no idea.
Or do they take
in
expired
Wall Street?
ludes? Is that what it was? Because they were expired? Maybe they get more
No,
potent
they were,
when
yeah, they were sitting and like marinating or something that hadn't been touched, and they were they called lemons? They were the lemons.
Oh, okay.
I forget.
We
But
googled Minotaur, but we can't be bothered googling Quaaludes.
I can Google Quaaludes.
Has anyone taken Quaaludes and tried to stay up, fight the urges, and then have sex? Why don't you write in and let us know?
I know that I would lose. I know that I would fall asleep and I would suck, and then in 2 weeks' time, I'd try to do it again and I'd probably suck again.
Has anyone ever been so hopped up on energy drink that their pee had turned a different colour?
Green, yeah.
I don't care which colour. Maybe you had a whole bunch of like blueberry Gatorade and you peed purple. Write in and let us know.
Write in and let us know. How do you spell Quaaludes?
I assume it's a Q.
Q-U-A? Quay?
E-Y?
I knew a T-
Ludes. L-U-D-E-S.
L-U.
Who's listening to this rubbish?
People are listening.
Hey, we're going to move
People
on.
a chance. Yeah, let's move on
And
while
we're
I'm
going
looking
to
this up.
So we're changing up our format, which means right now, after our thorough discussion of role models, where we just broke open the lid on the David Wayne style of direction,
We did.
I thought we really cut to the bottom of that.
So I looked up Quaaludes,
Okay, good.
and Bill Cosby came up. Bill Cosby came up, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're a
That's
rape
not
drug.
a good thing. So they're a rape drug.
Oh.
Yeah, that can't be good. Well, they make you fall asleep. That was his bag. That
That's
and
no fun in that.
and Fat
So
Albert.
they're like kind of roofies. This is my limited
sold under the
knowledge
brain
of
Quaaludes, and sometimes, it's a sedative.
Okay.
It's a sedative, a hypnotic medication, and a
hypnotic.
sedative. A sedative and a hypnotic. Okay.
All right.
Well, we want to take. Look, if you have Quaaludes, give us them, and we'll do it. We'll do the podcast on Quaaludes.
No. We will. If anything, we will try and recreate the getting into the car scene from Wolf of Wall Street.
If you have a Lamborghini, we can borrow.
If you have a car with the doors that go up like that we could borrow. I'm not
I
fussed
wish.
which kind of car it is.
I wish.
I would love to try that.
Near my new work, there's a Telstar store, and they have the car in there with the doors that do that.
Sick.
Little tidbit.
So now it's time for.
What did we watch this week?
Do you want to go first?
I can go first.
All right. What did you watch
Because
this
I
week?
watch things.
It's things and stuff.
I'm going to save the second one that I told you about for when you watch it.
Oh yes, very good.
But this one I'm going to talk about is I finally, forever, watched Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yay,
Spiderman.
got there.
Or how my wife says it.
Spiderman?
Spiderman.
Yeah, my good neighbourly buddy Joe Spiderman.
Joe Spiderman. Spider-Man.
Did you love it?
It was good.
Okay.
I didn't mind it.
I loved it.
You loved it.
Yeah,
You loved it.
I loved it.
Really? I did love that. I think that this is probably the best rendition of Peter Parker we have had.
It's my favourite.
Yeah. He is a kid. He even has Peter Parker's voice.
Oh yeah.
He has his voice.
Yeah. I'll be honest, man. Tobey Maguire, I'm just not a fan. I can't help it. I'm not a fan of Tobey Maguire.
Fair deal.
And I do enjoy the Raimi trilogy to a degree.
Yeah.
As much, as regularly as everyone else does. One is good, two is great, three is bullshit.
Yep.
Bullshit.
Did you say one is good, two is great? Well, that's where we
Yeah.
differ. So one is great, two is good, three is bullshit.
Okay,
They
sure.
kind of tad it down.
But
But yeah, as far as those go,
But-
we were excited because there was Spider-Man
Yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah.
on film for the first time, so we didn't know any different. Now,
I'm trying to think of how much I would like those movies if it wasn't Tobey Maguire. I have to tolerate the
Tobey-
Spider-Man in
Yeah.
the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah,
So imagine
that's true. That's
imagine
kind
if
of
Christian
painful.
Bale was garbage in those Batman movies.
Well-
And you just had to. No,
I'm kidding.
He's
I'm
got a
kidding.
funny voice,
I'm
but
kidding,
I like
I'm
him.
kidding.
a
I'm
lot.
kidding.
Do you know what I mean? Like how much harder it would be to enjoy those movies
Yeah,
if the
man.
central character was just fucking so annoying.
Just
and
painful.
yeah,
I don't mind Tobey Maguire. I don't really. I can take him or leave him, but I understand what you're saying. Like if we're watching something that's, it's like if I want to watch, I can't think of anything right now, but if I want to watch a movie like, actually, I've got one. Because of what's happened recently, for me to go back and to watch The Social Network, which is a movie that I absolutely adore.
Sure. Oh, you think you might struggle with Jesse
Dealing
Eisenberg?
with Jesse Eisenberg now.
Well, you're meant to think
is-
he's a fucking prick in that anyway, so
I
I think
know.
it's fine. You're
I
not meant to
know.
like him.
But trying to watch anything with that dick in it, or
I like him in certain. I like him in. I think he's great in Zombieland. I think he solves he does the role perfectly.
he's good because
I like him in
he's-
that American Ultra movie. I think he was really funny in that.
Oh, is that with?
It's where he's like a secret.
Is that with?
He's a big old stoner. Him and his girlfriend Kristen Stewart.
Oh, that's why I
they're
haven't
massive
watched it.
stoners.
Because it's a double fuck no for me.
Oh, see, I'm right around on Kristen Stewart now.
Really?
Yeah.
You are
Big
the
fan.
only person.
No, like seriously, it's the
new
happening,
thing?
man. She's been doing some French movies and like art house stuff. She's been nominated for fucking Palme d'Ors and stuff.
What?
Like what's the French one?
Cannes? It's not
Yeah,
Cannes.
she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress at Cannes and stuff
Really?
like that. Yeah, for
So clearly she's taken some acting classes? Is that,
well,
what's
no,
happened?
I think she was just like Robert Pattinson. Just
Right.
took a gig because it was like, yeah, I'll fucking do the Twilight movie. These things are gonna be huge.
Right.
Read the script and went, oh, and just dealt with it, and it's just
Right.
in those movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Because
Well, I haven't given her a chance.
yeah,
Maybe
I
I
think
should,
it's worth giving
you're
her a chance
saying
now.
I should give her a chance.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Well,
so.
I'm not going to do it with her and Jesse Eisenberg. That's
Yeah,
for
they're
damn
pretty
sure. That's a
funny,
hard
man.
pill
It's a-
to swallow.
It's a fun,
and-
but they play stoners who are secret. He's a stoner who's a secret like sleeper agent for the CIA. So
Yeah.
imagine like Jesse Eisenberg pretending to be stoned off his ass
Right.
and also killing dudes like without mercy, and at the same time being aware of it because he's a stoner. So
Yeah.
he's basically like cutting dudes' throats, being like, "Oh man," while he's doing it. It's pretty good. It was fun. Except it was written by Max Landis, and that guy needs to really fucking.
He needs to get his head out of his ass.
Oh my god! Like,
Head out of your ass.
somehow he's managed to get it all the way so far that it's gone back up and out the top again.
But, but coming back to Spidey.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Good movie.
I did love it. And this was like,
Michael Keaton.
as the Vulture, man. The Vulture. They did it so well.
He's so good.
He was dark. He was messed up. And one of the major things that I loved was he was not trying to blow up the world with a big beam coming. He was literally just stealing scrap and selling scrap.
Yeah, it was just a nice, small...
That's it. That's all
contained
it was.
Story. And that's...
He was Spidey and he was doing his thing in New York. It wasn't... It had to do...
But I think they had to keep it to that. And I mean... Having said that, the old Spider-Man movies actually were pretty similar too. They kept it pretty localized, the threat. They've never really... Amazing Spider-Man, they did that stupid kind of fucking, we're going to release a toxin thing, which every fucking movie's done at one time or another.
Yep.
And then all the stuff with Electro is garbage. But so in the old three, though, like aside from the Sandman stuff, which gets a little kind of...
Well, they didn't know what they were doing.
Huge world
At one point, you were like, what are you juggling? What is in the air, guys? Seriously, you've got too many balls.
The second one's got
you got too many balls in the air.
thing as well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. See, that's the thing. This is why I love this so much, because he was literally just stealing scrap, and Spidey came into the way of him stealing scrap. And he was like, well, I have beef with you now. And that was it. That was it. And I loved it. It was so good.
Can we spoil this now, do you reckon? It's been long enough to spoil it? It's been a while. It's been on Blu-ray and on...
2017. Yeah, look, you've had your chance.
All right.
Let's talk it.
So I want to talk... Let's spoil this for Spider-Man Homecoming. Let's do it.
Spoilers, people.
I think the scene in the middle... So this is leading into our finale. This is what I think makes this movie so good, is because most of these movies have downtime in the middle. Yeah?
Yes.
There is some kind of... And depending on how much you've engaged with the characters and how clever the writers are, what happens in the middle kind of defines whether or not you have a good movie or not. Because most of these movies have pretty cool finales and pretty big, like, kind of setups, exciting setups. It's that bit in the middle where everything stops so you can build character and you can really kind of give the movie some
build
heart.
Relationships and everything like
That's
that.
when
which is
things
what you need.
kind of fall apart if they don't do it properly.
Yep.
This middle 15 to 20 minutes is so fucking good.
Golden.
From the moment he turns up to her house to pick her up for prom, and it's Michael Keaton is the dad.
And you're like, whoa.
And I legitimately didn't see it coming.
No one saw that coming.
Not even a
no
little
one
bit.
saw that coming.
And do you know what? This movie played my preconceived default mode against me so effectively.
With
the fact that as a default, you don't consider him an option as the father.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he's white and she's black.
Yeah. Which is great. Which is so
But, I mean,
good.
that's just dumb. That's just how we are programmed to think that.
Yeah.
It's not like we think, oh, it definitely can't be because that's disgusting.
No.
It's just
because when it happened, you were like, oh, of course.
If we are being suspicious of anyone, we don't assume because of the difference in color.
Exactly.
And so they played that against us really effectively
So
because
good.
he opens the door and you're just like, oh, fuck. I didn't see this coming.
It was so good.
And then leading us into that car ride, which is just so intense, man.
That was full on. That
I'm
literally was...
edge
I
of my
felt so
seat.
sorry for her. I'm like, this is her prom, man. Like, this is... Oh, this is hurting me.
And the conversation he has with him is just so... like threatening. It's in such a like believable way because really like we are talking about a super strength individual against just a dude.
Yeah,
but
just a dude in a suit.
I 100% was so terrified of the Vulture for Peter Parker.
Absolutely.
Even with his strength and his agility, I still feared.
But that's why I loved this Peter Parker
dad.
because he was taking it, which I don't think the Amazing Spider-Man did enough because this essentially was Spider-Man year one. He just got his powers. Yes, he just did. It's coming off the back of Civil War, but he's still just Spider-Man. He hasn't. He's not perfected anything yet. He's still going through buildings and all that stuff and fucking stuff up. So. Of course he's going to be scared to death and that beautiful fucking scene with him and Danny Glover, not Danny Glover, Donald Glover. Thank you. Sorry, way off. Well, not way off, but close.
Murta?
Yeah, Murta. But yeah, how he does the interrogation scene where he's talking to him, he goes, dude, you're doing a great job, but this bit, you need to work on this bit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is golden. That is so golden.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, so that middle bit that you're saying that was like, it's kind of the downtime because it's in between action set pieces, if you want to think of it like that. I don't like to think of it like that, but whatever. His friend,
Ned's awesome.
Was way too funny for this movie to the point where I was like, this is gold. How is this kid this funny?
Yeah.
How have they written
Ned's
this funny?
Such a great character. So funny.
There was so many bits that just threw me out. Like,
And did you
to bring it back to role
uh,
models, it threw me to being this funny.
Yeah.
I was like, how is this funny? He's so good.
Remember how you were like, I don't love Friday, and then I was like, oh, I like her so much better, and it's because of Spider-Man Homecoming.
Is that Friday?
Well, I assume it's Friday because it's a Stark technology suit, so I just assumed it was Friday.
That's true. She's good.
But
Who played Friday?
It's Jennifer Connelly, isn't it? Well, is Jennifer Connelly?
It's Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Is she listed in this as doing the voice?
Yeah, that's what I looked up.
Yeah, excellent.
But it's not Friday because Friday for Iron Man, she has an Irish accent.
No.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Connelly? And that was the whole funny thing because it was Paul Bettany and Jennifer Connelly who were married.
Really?
Yeah. So when he became Vision and he replaced it with the female voice that
How
Jennifer
do
Connelly
I not
did
know
that.
this?
I thought that was a thing. Maybe you just heard a weird. Maybe she mispronounced a word and it sounded Irish, and and so your brain kind of built this whole backstory.
Well, this just makes me want to watch all phases 1 to 3 again.
But see,
I'll
this
get back on
is
that.
why. Well, if it is the same program, which I think it is, but if it is, that's why when you were kind of like, oh, I didn't like it that much, I was like, no, I kind of like it.
That's
and it's because of the stuff in
that,
this.
Yeah.
I think she's
Which
really
is
funny.
golden.
How long have we been here for? It's like it seems like it's 36 minutes.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff.
The other thing that I really loved as well with this is it used my fanboy against me as well.
Sure.
So in my head, I'm not saying that Mary Jane has to be a red-headed white girl. I'm not saying that. I love where they pushed, but I was like, what was her name? Her name was
Michelle.
No, was it? It was like Jane or something. Michelle, geez, you're very good, aren't you? Yeah.
I remember that for some reason.
And I was like, Michelle? Really?
Yeah.
Michelle? But then... No. The girl that he goes to the prom with, what's her name?
Oh.
That's who I'm talking about. Because then, once that happened, they call me MJ, and I'm like, oh!
Right, yeah, I get you.
That threw me. And
I like
she was rad as well.
Yeah, she's funny.
Yeah.
It also had some like legit moments of like so much heart. There's a bit where we're still talking spoilers. There's a bit where he gets trapped under a whole bunch of rubble, and he breaks down.
Yeah, man.
Like, and it's
that was quite
as
scary.
a kid. Like he breaks down like a kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, this is really
This
good
is
because
deep.
we forget
Yeah.
about that stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
We forget that we're dealing with a teenage kid, and like I can't remember anything because when Tobey Maguire was doing it, I never believed he was a teenager because he looks like a 40-year-old man trapped in a teenager's body. Like he's just had one of those faces.
He's got that face.
And
that
so
kid with that face.
any of his emotional moments, I just never bought. I was never able to get on board for him. Tom Holland just was so like exposed in that moment that I was like, yeah, fuck, this is a really good performance.
Was. Yeah, that really
lovely stuff. Yeah, cool. What's Spider-Man Homecoming?
The only because it wasn't all perfect.
Sure.
For me, the one thing I really didn't like, which we'll see where they go with it. It's a good jumping off point. Is the end where he came home? He's still Spider-Man, and Aunt May opened the door and then stopped.
Sure.
And I was like, no, I don't like that.
That's pretty funny.
I don't like
a
it.
good giggle.
No.
It was timed very well. I liked
it.
I liked the kind of teen movie energy of it, whereas she's about to swear and it cuts straight to the credits, and we get was it like Cherry Bomb or something? The song that played, it was some kind of like punk rock song, and you get all the hand drawn animation for the credits. It was a lot of fun.
I'm pretty sure it was the what's the name? This is hilarious because my music.
The
knowledge.
Ramones, maybe.
Thank you.
Was the Ramones?
It was the Ramones. Yeah. Tys, I was right, man. It's not her.
Oh.
So she hasn't played it all the way through. I now have to, while you talk about what you watched this week, I'm going to look up who Friday
she's
is.
only been in the movie since Paul Bettany stopped being Jarvis.
Yeah, which was
Like Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, yeah. So I'm going to look at Age of Ultron. But what did you watch this week, Tyson?
All right. Well, I'm going to talk about Fresh to Netflix.
Fresh.
Super fresh, like as in yesterday fresh.
Super fresh.
They released Annihilation, and so I watched it last night.
Annihilation.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it good?
It's fucking great.
I know it. I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
And you were a naysayer.
I was not a naysayer,
I'm
was
kidding.
I?
I'm kidding. You were doubtful.
I was,
which is
doubtful.
totally understandable.
Yeah. This movie is bonkers, and
Really?
I loved it for it. It is so strange, and in just this really, really great way. It is super heady too. Like it is a very thought-provoking sci-fi film. Like it's not going in to be, it's kind of an alien invasion film. That's
Yeah.
essentially kind of what we're dealing with. Yeah,
Nice.
but it is. I mean, to say it's a realistic version of an alien invasion is kind of an oxymoron anyway. But what I think is really kind of clever about it is that it takes this concept that we have become very familiar with from for years and years worth of
Countless
alien
of-
invasion films, where we see it more as a physical and a technological threat. Yeah, whereas this presents it as more of a biological altering threat.
Cool.
And so this movie plays out like a weird kind of...
So they come down and almost terraform us?
No,
not terraform, but...
They just kind of... It honestly, it feels to me like the most likely version of an alien invasion.
Yeah, sure.
As in, something happens, and in that environment, we are no longer able to think and live the same way. So it affects our brain functions, but not to I'm not saying stuff like, oh, we start slurring our speech and things like that. It's that we're no longer the same people we were, because it changes the very makeup of our brain. It changes the very makeup of our physicality.
Right.
And so the movie is this weird kind of like nightmare of and I don't mean nightmare as in like
Nightmare on
super
Elm Street.
scary.
Yeah, yeah.
It is pretty scary in moments. There's like some weird jump scares, but it's more a nightmare as in its logic and its realities are so adjusted just enough to make you feel very uncomfortable and very, very much threatened. Yeah. And so you're watching this and you just can't relax. You don't feel comfortable about anything. Everything just has this really weird edge to it.
Yeah.
Everything feels really uncomfortable. And it perfectly matches the scenario of what they're in as well.
Yeah.
I think it's just great, but it's saying some really fucking heavy shit too about like addiction and guilt and regret and self-destructive behaviors and things like that. There's some really kind of heavy stuff
I
in
didn't
there.
know that this was going straight a Netflix thing.
It's in the cinemas in the US only. Everywhere else it's going straight to Netflix.
Wow.
So yeah, which is a real shame because
That's kinda
I'd
shit.
love to see it on a cinema screen. I'd
Yeah.
absolutely love to see it.
Please,
in a
man, I've
cinema.
seen the size of your television. You're fine.
Yeah. Well, I don't have that TV at the moment.
Oh,
'Cause,
buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, fair
We
enough.
don't. It's there. We just don't watch stuff on it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I can't recommend it enough.
Nice.
It's really challenging.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is fucking incredible. Just
I
this,
didn't talk to you about that. Yeah, keep going.
the weirdest kind of electronic soundtrack stuff.
I talked about this when I talked about the trailer. I talked about that weird electronic
yeah, cool.
sound, and I said,
Yeah.
"Did you hear the sound?" You're like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, no, I wasn't paying attention to it then.
have
Really,
to have
really
that.
interesting
I have to have
performances too, because the performances are kind of pitched at a level that feel uncomfortable too.
Yeah.
Like nothing is normal. Nothing is like as you would expect a run of the mill. Like run of the mill is unfair. Like something like Arrival, which I think it's probably its closest cousin.
Yeah, because I would see Arrival as if we were to have visitors, that's how it would be.
Yeah, and look, that's you're right.
Yeah.
That's one version of this story.
Yeah.
And Arrival, I think they share a lot of similar kind of DNA in the sense that they are using an alien invasion, or like invasion or a visitation, in order to kind of provide an allegory for some kind of humanity. Yeah, some kind of human experience. But where Arrival feels quite normal, though. Yeah? Like
Very
the
realistic.
characters feel
Very,
real.
very
The characters
realistic.
feel kind of lived in.
Yeah.
We get a sense of, while it's pretty fucking bonkers what happens in that movie, we still feel it still feels familiar. The relationships, the performances, nothing about that happens in this. It's just everything feels a little off,
Right.
and a little deliberately off. I think it's all
Nice.
very, very much a choice to do it this way.
And how is the because you get a sense from the trailer that it's a strong all-female cast
yeah,
almost?
pretty much,
Yeah.
which is amazing. It's great.
Nice.
And let's write some articles about this shit, people, because
Yeah, seriously.
this is what people want. This is what it is.
I saw it and I was like, I was drawn to it. I was like, I bring this on.
These are complicated, strong, intelligent female characters. Yeah, I haven't seen anything written about this. Like any kind of like, hey,
Oh,
cool,
really?
isn't this great? let's all watch this. Why don't we all rally around this movie? Because that's what we should be doing. Because it is, aside from Oscar Isaac, who's very much a supporting role, and
who's unconscious for most of it.
You see him in flashbacks and little stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's his name? Victor Wong from Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah,
played the sidekick, who has a small speaking role, and then there's another character in it as well. All the people on the expedition that go on the expedition are female, and they're all experts in their field, really intelligent, well-spoken, but like kind of, complicated characters too. They've got complicated backstories. They've got, some of them have, Benedict Wong, thank you. A broken people, but they're complicated, really well-formed characters.
Yeah.
It's really worth kind of championing, I think.
Bring it on.
More people should be getting on it and being like, fuck yeah, let's get on this.
Yeah.
And Natalie Portman, I think, does really great work. She's matured into this really interesting actress. I really like her. I think it's really nice what she does. She's subtle, but not to a point of it feeling kind of lazy.
Yeah, man.
I liked it a lot. Can't recommend it enough, and it's just sitting there on Netflix at the
ready
push of a button.
For you to watch.
That's it.
You do not have to torrent it.
That is Annihilation.
Don't do that.
Alex Garland.
Who? Oh, Alex Garland. That's another one. Why? Awesome. Well, just to make sure that we're covering all bases, Kerry Camden was Friday.
Oh.
And she is Irish.
So what was she? Which one did she do it in?
She did it in Civil War and Age of Ultron.
So Jennifer Connelly just came in for.
She's Spidey's Friday. So she's just for Spidey.
Just for Spidey. Well, there you go.
Which I love.
There you go,
dude. How could you not love? Oh Jesus.
It's time for us.
How could you not love Jennifer Connelly?
Yeah, so much for our thoughts that this would be a shorter episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I'm going to cut some nonsense out of role models.
Out of role models.
There was plenty of nonsense. I'm going to cut some nonsense out of Talkin Trailers. We talked some garbage.
Yeah, we went a bit too long on...
Yeah, we did. We did indeed. But now it's time for Crossing the Streams! We're going to recommend something that you can stream immediately from your couch, if you so wish.
If you're sitting there and just wanting to, I don't know what to watch, and for some reason you've got a podcast on, and it's Nick Tys and Videotape, and like, well, what do the guys watch?
What do we watch, Nick?
That is a good question, Tyson. What do we watch?
Well, I'm going to... Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something I don't think I've done before.
Ooh.
But
what the hell?
Very recently added to Stan. And so now that I've just seen that this has been added, which means I'll be watching it as soon as possible, I'm going to recommend the sequel to a movie that I really enjoy, and I'm very excited to see this sequel. It is Goon, Last of the Enforcers.
Oh.
Bringing it back around to our Sean William Scott.
How good is that?
Of role models. Goon is a movie that I absolutely adore. I think it's lovely. I think it's Sean William Scott really doing what he does best, creating kind of clueless, lovable losers with the Heart of Gold. And this is the sequel that came out last year, written and directed by Jay Baruchel this time, who... I think only wrote the last one, who everyone knows from, like, This Is the End, as the main guy in This Is the End, and She's Out of My League and all that kind of stuff. She's out of your league, my league?
She's out of your league?
Well, your league?
My
she's
league?
out of my league.
I think it's my league.
So, yeah, and that first movie, this first Goon movie is so much fun and just such a cute little, very, very indie comedy, but with just so unexpectedly sweet. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing this sequel. It's about a guy who, in an ice hockey team, is kind of hired to be the one that just punches people, which is an amazing part of that sport, which
because he's a goon.
I think it's ridiculous that exists as part of this sport.
I love it. I wish I could get into it more.
And so this is kind of, he's still doing his thing, but he's now kind of troubled by the new up-and-coming goon, who he once was. The Sean William Scott character kind of had this... this showdown with Liev Schreiber in the last one as the old goon versus the new goon. And now there's another new one coming through. And in order for Sean William Scott to maintain his kind of position, he has to actually kind of go and get some training from the master, the Liev Schreiber. So it's got a bit of a Rocky 3 vibe going on to it, which I love. The, going to visit Apollo Creed and go and learn how he did it so he can take on the new master. But yeah, I'm very excited to watch this. It could be bad, who knows, but we can all experience it together. So that's on Stan, Goon, Last of the Enforcers. What do you got, Nick?
Nice one, Tys. That is a good one. My wife still wants me to watch Goon 1 because of your recommendation last time you recommended that. No,
yeah, it's really
maybe
fun.
it's because you watched it.
I have
Or was it-
recommended it, maybe.
Yeah.
I might have recommended it in streaming, or I've at least talked about, that I
You've
watched it
talked about
recently, maybe.
Yeah. What would you? Mine this week is coming from SBS On Demand,
Oh, very
which
good.
is a free streaming service.
It
if you-
is.
if you
Free
care-
with commercials.
free with commercials, but still, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's right up my friend Tyson's alley,
Ooh.
which is called Bone Tomahawk.
Oh, man, do you know
Good
what?
Lord.
Still have not seen
I
this
know,
fucking
and
movie.
you fucking get on it, man.
I need to watch it.
Seriously. So yeah, Kurt Russell stars in this this western, which it is a western, but it doesn't take a horror slant to it, but it's
I've heard it's kind of
almost
it's got
scary.
a horror
Yeah.
element to it, but it's not flat out horror.
It's not flat out horror, exactly. So it's a rescue mission basically, but the people that they're going up against are not Native Americans. Finally, they are just cannibalistic cave dwellers. So as let that just have your imagination run wild. That's exactly what it is, and it deserves its hard R. This thing is fucking brutal to the
I've
point
heard
where
it gets real brutal.
my wife couldn't even take it anymore.
Right.
Yeah. But as far
Love
as
it.
a western goes, this thing ticks all the boxes. I like a western that kind of just sits in its world for a little bit, rather than just jump from action to action piece.
Yeah.
A western isn't like that for me. A western is about setting up the characters to the point where you really care about them.
Absolutely.
And then at the end, you're going to get all of the action at the end, and then from there, obviously maybe everyone dies, or whatever the outcome is. But yeah, I loved the environment, like the feeling of what this world had about it.
Yeah.
I forget the word I'm looking for, but
Well, like good westerns have like this real kind of grittiness to the environment, like this lived-in kind of quality.
yeah,
Where
yeah.
everything feels tangible.
Atmosphere. That was the
Yeah.
fucking word I was looking for. But yeah, the atmosphere in this is where, it's really dark and it's really dingy and it's just messed up. And
Yeah.
these guys aren't good guys by any sense of the means.
Sure.
And they're just trying to, by the end of it, they're just trying to survive.
And Kurt Russell's rocking
And
his big
Kurt
fucking
Russell
mo.
is fucking awesome. He is
I'm loving this
awesome.
moustached Kurt Russell.
Yeah,
I love
man.
it so
Oh,
much.
it's my fave. Massive beard. I need to watch Guardians 2 again. Yeah, watch it. It's on SBS On Demand. I'm pretty sure it's on other things as well. But
yeah, I think it might be.
definitely give it a watch.
gotta
It's,
watch it. I've
it's
just gotta
up
do
there.
it. I've
It's
gotta
definitely
do
up
it.
there.
Very good.
Art direction, man, all the way.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Well, that's going to wrap us up for this week.
For this oddball of a episode.
Yeah, let's try and get this down to like an hour and a half, because that's nonsense, really.
Yeah, man.
So, next week,
Yeah.
don't forget our mailbag
We
episode.
have the mailbag.
Nick, why don't you tell all the people all the ways they can get in touch with us?
Are we going to start off with a mailbag? Like, are we going to have like a Postman Pat song? Postman Pat, Postman Pat. I think we can't have the Postman
No,
Pat song.
I don't think we
but
can.
maybe we can do, hey, yeah, little Mr. Postman.
Nah, it's all
Hey,
copyright,
yeah.
man.
God damn it.
We got to try and be clever and make up our own version
All
of
right, fine. We'll make up our own. But if you would like to,
mailbag.
but if you would like to send us some correspondence, if you have a question burning inside and you would like to write us a letter, you can email us at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. And from there,
Very good. Is that everything?
I think that's it.
Don't forget you can find us on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube, yeah.
You
can definitely, if you really like what you hear, which if you're listening to this episode, you got weird taste. But but if you're listening to this episode and you like what you hear, write us a review. Tell us why you love this one.
Sure. This is a wacky one. I'm not sure we're going to make any new friends out of this episode.
I hope we do. It's going to be funny.
But yeah, we're really looking forward to next week's mailbag episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. But until then, that's it.
That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week, peeps.
Bye, Nick.
Bye, Tyson.
Bye.
Bye.
There the air twists and shimmers in the heat. Love, take me down. Love, take me down.